Do you guys still remember how to make a lot of noise? Let's kick off the second half. Here is Micaela Blei.
So I'm teaching third grade. It's April, and it's the last unit of the year, and it's the Oregon Trail. And I am prepared to have my students really live the Oregon Trail. This is how I taught third grade. It was always a world that I created and then ran like a puppet master. That's what I did. Sometimes we were learning geography when we would have a stuffed animal rock band lost across the United States, and they'd be writing us desperate notes to try to figure out where they were, and we would figure it out by learning about the states. Sometimes we learned about the development of technology in American history with letters from a corrupt patent officer named Pierre du Canard. This was mostly for my own entertainment, as it should be very clear to you. But now it's the Oregon Trail, and this is actually a very dark time in American history, right? This is pioneers in the 1850s, going from Independence, Missouri to Oregon, very treacherous. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give them a real experience. I mean, none of this, the stuffed animal rock band, their manager was named Caesar von Salad. I mean, I was not a serious person. But now I want it to be serious. So I come to them, my third graders, and I say, we're going to be starting to study the Oregon Trail. And they say, well, will it be a game? Because it's always a game. And I say, yeah, but it's going to be a dangerous game. And they're pretty into it. So we start this sort of simulation where I have them choose names, Oregon Trail names for their characters, based on actual names of people who died on the Oregon Trail. I find this information online. You also can if you wish. And so they have names like, they use their first names, but it's like Chapman and Chubbuck and, you know, Blunderfield, one kid names himself, which is cute. And they choose occupations too, and they want to be pop stars. And I say, there were no pop stars on the Oregon Trail. You must choose an occupation that would be someone on the Oregon Trail. So they're farmers and they're gold miners, you know, who are going to stop off in Colorado and look for gold. And they're doctors, and you know, they're sort of figuring out what their occupations would be. So great. So but I want this to be real. I want them to know what it feels like. So before we start the simulation, I want them to know what it felt like to walk on the Oregon Trail. So I take them on a 40-block walk. And they get thirsty. And I say, there were no water fountains on the Oregon Trail. Keep walking. This is working, right? So now we're starting the simulation. We're ready to start the journey. They come back, we're ready. So I have this bonnet that I have made out of old upholstery material. And the way I've designed this simulation is I've combined principles of the Oregon Trail video game with principles of Dungeons and Dragons. So we roll dice. It's like a whole elaborate dice game that I've made up the rules to myself, and I'm the only one who knows the rules. So I put on my bonnet, I tell them what's happening that day on the Oregon Trail, and then I take off the bonnet and we roll to find out if we forded the river or shot the buffalo or survived. Because one kid says to me, well, wait, this is a dangerous game. Could we die? And I'm like, sure. People died on the Oregon Trail all the time. You might die. And this shiver of excitement goes across the whole class. They were into my stuffed animal rock band, but they're way more into danger, right? And I know I'm not gonna let it get there, but the idea, just the idea, gets them wanting to come to social studies every day. So this is okay, like it's just enough danger. So I'm putting on my bonnet and I'm telling them what's happening, and we're rolling and we're tracking our mileage and we're shooting buffalo, and every day before I put on my bonnet, someone says, is someone gonna die today? Is someone gonna die today? And I'm putting them off and I'm putting them off, and I'm sort of making all these other things happen, but then finally, we're getting to the Rockies, and it's like 2 weeks into my project, and I'm like, I'll give them a brush with death. So That day, when someone asks me inevitably, is someone going to die today? I say, we have been lucky thus far. But the Rockies lie ahead, the most treacherous part of our journey. Who knows what may happen? So I put on my bonnet. I wish I had this bonnet still, you guys. I'm really sad I don't have this bonnet. I don't know who has it. I put on this bonnet, and I say, in the early morning light, on a rocky mountain pass, a wagon wheel hits a rock and is overturned. Someone is trapped beneath this wagon. Let us roll to find out who it is. I take off my bonnet. I have the most ridiculous system of assigning numbers to all the kids according to just these 2 6-sided dice, right? But I roll and I figure out, and it's this little girl, Katie. She's got her Oregon Trail name is Catherine Chubbuck. She's a farmer. She's one of these kids who always has really messy hair, you know, and she sounds like she's been smoking since she was 3. And she has to come up to the front of the class, and she has to roll, and I say, Catherine Chubbuck, you're trapped beneath the wagon. Roll to find out if you get free and what happens. And she rolls, and she finds out she gets free, but she finds out her leg is infected. I made this up. This is all me. So I say, Catherine Chubbuck, roll to find out if you get better or worse. And as soon as I say it, I realize what I have done. This world is no longer in my control. This is now in the hands of fate. These dice. She rolls, her infection gets worse. And she looks at me and she just goes, did I die? And I realize how badly I have messed up. She's gonna have to tell her parents that she died on the Oregon Trail. Is she gonna sit out for the rest of the game? I'm totally screwed. I don't know what to do. And just then, from the back of the classroom, this one little girl, Ellis, whose Oregon Trail name is Dr. Ellis Chapman, just goes, wait! I'm a doctor! And I'm like, oh, thank God. And she runs to the front of the room, and I say, Dr. Ellis Chapman brings her doctor bag. She knows how to heal the wound. If you roll a 6, that's the only way you die. Anything else, you're fine. And she rolls, and the whole class is silent. And it's a 3. And the whole class, it's like the end of Apollo 13. They're throwing their papers in the air. They're hugging each other. Katie's just going, I almost died. I almost died. Sometimes we need to put our lives in the hands of fate, you guys, and sometimes they are in the hands of Dr. Ellis Chapman. Thank you.
Micaela Blei.